Have you ever looked back on your life and realized how much time you've spent worrying about things that don't really matter? Maybe it was a comment from a neighbor, a regret from years ago, or the pressure to keep up with what everyone else was doing. Well, here's the good news. After 70, you get to let go of all that. In fact, letting go might just be the secret to true happiness. Think about it. How much energy have we wasted on things that, in the end, didn't change our lives for the better? The older we get, the clearer it becomes some things just aren't worth holding on to. And when we release them, we make room for more joy, more peace, and more of what truly matters. In this video, we'll talk about 7 things that no longer need to take up space in your heart or mind after 70. These are things that might have weighed you down in the past, but now, you have the freedom to leave them behind. Let's start with the first one, something we've all struggled with at some point: caring too much about what other people think. Remember when you used to worry about what others thought of you? Maybe you hesitated to wear something you loved because someone might say it was too bold. Or perhaps you held back from speaking your mind, afraid of being judged. Here's the truth: after 70, those opinions don't hold the same weight anymore. And that's not just okay, it's freeing. Think about it. How many times has someone's passing comment stuck with you, only for them to forget they ever said it? The truth is, people's judgments often say more about them than about you. Maybe they're insecure, maybe they're projecting their own worries, but their opinions don't define your worth. Take Margaret, for example. At 74, she always dressed conservatively because her daughter once joked that her bright scarves were too much. But one day, she realized, why was she letting someone else's taste dictate her joy? So she started wearing exactly what made her happy. Bold colors, big jewelry, whatever made her feel like herself. And you know what? People complimented her more than ever. But even if they hadn't, she wouldn't have cared. Because she finally felt free. That's the gift of this stage of life. You've earned the right to be unapologetically you. The people who matter won't mind, and the ones who mind, well, they don't matter nearly as much as you once thought. So the next time you feel that old hesitation creeping in, what will they think? Ask yourself instead, do I really want to give their opinion that much power? Because here's the secret: when you stop living for others' approval, you start living for your own happiness. And that's a shift worth making. You know what's exhausting? Trying to keep up. Keeping up with fashion trends, technology updates, the latest slang. It's like running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster. But here's the beautiful thing about life after 70. You can finally step off that treadmill. Remember when you felt pressured to buy the newest gadget just because everyone else had it? Or when you forced yourself to listen to music you didn't even like because it was popular? At this stage of life, you've earned something much more valuable than being trendy. You've earned the right to be comfortable in your own skin. Take George, a 78-year-old retired teacher. For years, he struggled with e-readers because his grandchildren said paper books were old-fashioned. But you know what? He realized he prefers the feel of real pages, the smell of a good book, the satisfaction of seeing his progress as he turns each page. So he put down the tablet and picked up his beloved hardcovers again. And guess what? He's reading more than ever because he's enjoying it more. This isn't about resisting change. It's about choosing what truly works for you. The latest smartphone might be impressive, but if you're perfectly happy with your simple flip phone that makes calls and sends texts, that's wonderful. Those trendy fast fashion clothes might look great in magazines. But if you'd rather wear your comfortable, broken-in favorites, that's even better. Here's the truth: trends come and go. But your comfort and happiness are forever. When you stop chasing what's in and start embracing what you genuinely love, you'll find a new kind of freedom: the freedom to be exactly who you are, exactly as you are. And honestly, there's nothing more stylish than that kind of confidence. How many nights have you laid awake replaying old decisions in your mind? That job you didn't take, the words you wish you said differently, the paths not traveled. Here's something important to understand. Those regrets you've been carrying, they weren't mistakes, they were lessons that shaped the remarkable person you are today. Think about it, every choice you made, even the difficult ones, brought you to this moment. That wrong turn you took at 40 might have led you to meet your best friend at 45. That career opportunity you passed up might have given you the time to be present for your grandchildren's childhoods. Life has a funny way of working out in ways we can't always see in the moment. Consider Robert, 81, who spent years beating himself up for turning down a big promotion in his 50s. He thought he failed by choosing family time over career advancement. But looking back now, he realizes those extra hours at home meant he got to coach his son's baseball team, help his daughter with her science projects, and be there for Sunday dinners that created lifelong memories. What seemed like a compromise at the time turned out to be the best decision he never meant to make. Here's what 70+ years of wisdom teaches us. There are no perfect paths, only different ones. The right choice is the one that felt right at the time with the information you had. Instead of regretting, try reframing those weren't missteps. They were experiences that gave you perspective, resilience, and stories worth sharing. Try this. Take one thing you've regretted and ask yourself, what did this teach me? How did this shape me? You might be surprised to discover that your greatest regrets contain hidden gifts. The kind of wisdom that only comes from having lived fully, imperfectly, and authentically. After all, a life without any mistakes would be like a book without any plot, safe, but not nearly as interesting. And you, my friend, have lived quite a story. Isn't it strange how we spend so much of our lives measuring ourselves against other people? Their careers, their homes, their vacations, as if life were some kind of competition we never signed up for. But here's what 7 decades teach you. Comparison isn't just pointless, it steals the joy from your own unique journey. Think about your old classmates or coworkers. Some had flashy careers while others had quiet, steady lives. Some traveled the world while others built deep roots in one community. But here's the truth no one tells you when you're younger. There's no scoreboard. That neighbor who always seemed ahead of you, they were probably looking at someone else thinking the same thing. Take Helen, 75, who used to feel pangs of envy when she saw friends' vacation photos or heard about their grandchildren's accomplishments. Then one morning, she woke up and realized something profound. While she'd been busy comparing her behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reels, she missed appreciating her own beautiful ordinary moments, the comfort of her cozy home, the satisfaction of her garden, the simple pleasure of having time to read and think. What Helen discovered, and what you might realize too, is that contentment comes when you stop looking sideways and start appreciating what's right in front of you. Your life isn't meant to be a copy of anyone else's. Those quiet evenings with a good book, the familiar routines that bring you comfort, the relationships you've nurtured over decades. These are your treasures, and they deserve to be valued, not compared. Try this: instead of asking, how does my life measure up? Ask, what am I grateful for today? You'll likely find that the things that truly matter, love, health, peace of mind, were never part of the comparison game to begin with. Remember, the only life you need to measure your own against is the life you truly want to live, and after 70, you've earned the right to define that entirely on your own terms. Remember when you could work all day in the garden and still have energy for an evening out, or when taking it easy felt like a waste of precious time. Our bodies speak to us differently now, not with rebellion, but with wisdom, and learning to listen might be one of the most important skills we develop in these later years. There was a time when pushing through exhaustion felt like strength. Ignoring aches was a badge of honor. But now we understand something profound. True strength isn't about overriding our limits, it's about respecting them. Like a well-loved book, our bodies deserve gentle handling as the years turn their pages. Consider Sam, 80, who prided himself on maintaining his acre of land without help. Last summer, after stubbornly mowing in the midday heat, he spent 3 days recovering in bed. That's when he realized asking his grandson, to help with the heavy work wasn't surrender, it was wisdom. Now they work together, sharing stories while they work, creating memories along with a well-kept lawn. The yard looks just as nice, but with half the strain and twice the joy. This isn't about giving up what you love, it's about finding new ways to enjoy it. Maybe it means taking a bench to the garden so you can tend your flowers, seated breaking tasks into smaller sessions, with rest in between, embracing helpful tools that make activities easier. Most importantly, letting go of that old voice that says, I should be able to. Your body has been your faithful companion for decades. Now it's asking for kindness in return. When we shift from, I must push through, to I'll pace myself, we don't lose our independence, we preserve it longer. And we often discover that doing things more gently leaves room to actually enjoy them. After all, what's the use of maintaining a perfect yard if you're too exhausted to sit in it and appreciate your handiwork? These days, the real accomplishment isn't in how much you can endure, it's in how much you can enjoy. Have you been carrying around old resentments like heavy suitcases? That argument with your sister from 20 years ago? The neighbor who wronged you? The friend who forgot an important occasion? At this stage of life, those grudges aren't just weighing on your mind, they're taking up space where peace could live. Here's something remarkable about being in your 70s and beyond. You start to see how short life really is. The things that felt so important in the heat of the moment now seem so small in the grand scheme. What once felt like an unforgivable offense might now feel like a misunderstanding that went too far. Take Evelyn, 79, who hadn't spoken to her younger sister in 15 years over an inheritance dispute. Last year, when Evelyn had a health scare, her sister showed up at the hospital unannounced. In that moment, Evelyn realized, was being right really more important than having her sister in her life? They were now making up for lost time, sharing Sunday dinners and family stories they'd both been missing. Forgiveness at this age isn't about saying what happened was okay. It's about saying you're worth more than carrying that hurt forever. It's like finally taking off a heavy winter coat you didn't realize you were still wearing in summer. The relief is immediate. Try this: think of one old grudge you've been holding. Now imagine how you'd feel if you let it go. Not for them, for you. Would your days feel lighter? Would you sleep better? Would you have more room for joy? The beautiful thing is, it is never too late to make peace with others, or with yourself. Some bridges can still be rebuilt. Others might be too far gone, but you can still release the bitterness. After 70 years of living, you deserve to travel light for the journey ahead. Because in the end, what matters isn't who was right or wrong decades ago. It's who's here with you now, and how fully you can enjoy the time you have left together. How many years did we spend racing against invisible clocks? The pressure to graduate by a certain age, marry by a certain date, retire at the right time. But here's the wonderful truth you'd discover after 70 days. Those deadlines were never real, they were just stories we agreed to believe. Now, you get to write your own timeline. Think about all the shoulds that used to dictate your life. You should have your career settled by 30. You should slow down after retirement. You shouldn't start new things at your age.
What nonsense!
The most beautiful part of this chapter is realizing it's never too late to learn, to love, to begin again. Meet Arthur, 82. Who always wanted to play piano but thought he'd missed his chance after childhood. Last year, he saw a flyer for adult beginner lessons at the community center. Today, he's learning Beethoven slowly, joyfully, without worrying about being the best in the class. His wrinkled hands may not move as quickly as the kids do, but when he finally masters a measure, the triumph is all his. This is the freedom that comes with experience. Understanding that life isn't a race with prizes for finishing first. It's more like a garden where you can plant new flowers anytime, even in autumn. Maybe now is when you finally take that art class you never had time for, write your family's stories to pass down, learn to use technology at your own pace, reinvent what retirement looks like for you. The pressure's off. There are no judges keeping score, no timelines to follow except your own. That project you've been putting off because it's too late. It isn't. That dream you shelved decades ago, it's still waiting for you. After 70 years of living by clocks and calendars, you've earned the right to move at the speed of your own curiosity. These aren't twilight years, they read bonus rounds where every new beginning is a victory. So what will you start today? As we come to the end of our conversation today, I want you to take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. Your happiness is not determined by what you still carry, but by what you're finally brave enough to let go. These 7 things we've talked about, others' opinions, trends, past regrets, comparisons, pushing too hard, old grudges, and artificial timelines, they were never meant to be lifelong burdens. They were lessons, not life sentences. And now, you get to lay them down. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a lighter heart. No more should-haves. No more straining to meet expectations that were never yours to begin with. Just the freedom to enjoy your days exactly as they are, filled with the people, hobbies, and quiet moments that truly matter to you. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one thing from our talk today that's been weighing on you, and give yourself permission to release it. Not tomorrow, now. Whether it's forgiving someone, silencing that critical inner voice, or finally signing up for that class you've been curious about, take that step. Because the secret isn't just knowing what to let go of. It's realizing that when you do, you make room for more joy than you ever thought possible at this stage of life. You've earned this lightness. Embrace it. And if this resonated with you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. After all, the best parts of life are better when shared. Thank you for spending this time together. Here's to your happiest, freest years ahead.